buddy of mine who's in the he was a Marine. He's a pro wrestler out in North Carolina, and every year, I mean, he always keeps kind of a count of everybody from his group that have since passed on. I'm sure you have that as well. And a lot of it's from PTSD. A lot of it's just from the nature of the beast. Do you think the U.S. government is doing enough to really help out the soldiers enough who are dealing with PTSD, or is this like, don't ask, don't tell type thing? Like, if we don't need to know, it's not really our problem.
Well, they're helping. I just don't think there is enough help out there. Especially with the society that we live in today, it seems like every kid is seeing a counselor. Every kid has an emotional problem, or somebody has an emotional problem, and the VA does have a bad rep. I'm happy with some of the stuff the VA does.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Some of the stuff I don't feel that you have to jump through hoops. With my PTSD, I'm getting 62% disability of my PTSD. So they give me a certain amount, but when I, like requested a counselor, I had to meet with a lady to be screened. And then she goes, well, we'll meet 3 or 4 more times, just so I can just give you the tools that you need to help you through issues. Not really talking to me, just giving me the tools so I can get through it.
Mm-hmm.
I told him I need somebody to talk to about my issues.
All right.
And after like the second, third time, I was just like, you know what? I ain't gonna do this anymore. This is a waste of my time to show up. There's different other organization from the VA that helps out other benefits, like the Wounded Warrior program. They have a really good programs to help people with PTSD. Just the trouble is they just don't have the people to how can I say, the people to be available to do counseling sessions. Does that make sense? There's not enough counselors. And then when you do, it's like, oh, VA, well, I need, I'm trying to get a reassessment for my sleep apnea. And I called the VA, because I ended up going out in town because I was authorized to go in town. I met with the local hospital close to where I'm at, the VA, and they're like, well, do you want to go out in town or do you want to do it in-house? I'm like, go out of town because I knew you can get an appointment quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And now the sleep doctor says, well, I'm going to put you in for a reassessment. I'm like, all right. So she goes, I'll put you in line with our sleep clinic. Well, the sleep clinic had to contact the VA. Now I have to go meet with a doctor at the VA to get him to authorize to go back to the community relations guy to get the community relation guy out. So, there's
so many hoops to jump through.
There's so many hoops, but it's just like there's a lot more that we need to do for veterans. I mean, not saying that I need that because I'm a veteran and I need it. There's some veterans out there that don't have places to sleep, wondering where they're going to get their food next, wondering how they're going to get food for their kids, wondering where they're going to get money to pay rent or get gas to get to work or fix their cars. There's programs out there that are available, but it's so hard to get appointments.
Yeah, for me, I would think, someone who has gone through issues that not everybody goes through. Okay, PTSD is not a thing you go through at your normal job on a regular basis. If someone yells at you, that's one thing, right? You kind of get beaten down by that and just kind of move on. But you're talking about war-like situations that have traumatized you in all sorts of ways. You would think that the U.S. government would sit there and go, you know what, that should be a top priority for our citizens, especially for those who have served. But because so much politicking from both sides. I mean, neither one of them are innocent in all this.
Yeah.
They want to have their mountain. They want to have their hill to climb on and defend it to their honor. Both of them do it, and unfortunately, so many people get left behind in the process.
which
And
which the 1%ers are not left behind. It's the working class that's
right,
suffering. Um,
and Brandon, all it does is breed a big toxic situation for this country because we say we take care of our men and women, we honor them at Super Bowls and this and that and everything else, but it's like talking to you. I mean, I've known you for 30 something years, and you ain't the same person I met 30 when I was in eighth grade on the sideline of a New Smith football game, running the footballs back and forth. I mean, you're a different cat now. So for for you to have all of this go on and like how big pharma is, right? Just give them a pill, be all right. I mean, they're all about treating the problem, but they're never about curing the problem.
yeah, the issue is it's also, when I met you, I was young
We all
and
were.
we immature. We
We all
grow
were.
up, huh?
We all were.
Yeah, and we were a lot thinner.
Dude, I look at my son. I look at my son who's a freshman. I'm like, that's me. I mean,
Oh
he's
yeah.
a rep.
I look at my son, my middle son Connor, and I'm like, you look just like me. I'll pull out my boot camp pictures. I'm like, what happened to this guy? Even pictures of me and Jen 10, 11 years ago. I look so much different. But
It's called gravity, sir.
yeah. It's also the dealers that come out once a year around January, February, March, April time frame that doesn't help either.
Listen, hey, let's blame who's really responsible. Girl Scouts. They sell them damn cookies every goddamn year, and we're suckers at Walmart. We're going, yeah, we don't have enough cookies we bought in the car. Let's buy those as well for $6. So
Yeah,
yeah, let's
yeah.
blame them.
And you just can't eat just one Thin Mint. You got to eat the whole
No,
sleeve.
no, yeah, it's the amateurs. I mean, come on, you got to. I mean, one row maybe. Okay.
Yeah. They say servings 4. Yeah, for maybe a 6-year-old. Um, no, but I think we're wiser. We've been through heartaches. I mean, um, knowing you for what, since 87,
87, 88, 87,
88,
88. Yeah,
yeah, somewhere around there. Um, shoot, that's almost 40 years ago.
I know, right?
Yeah. And I seen your struggles. I seen you overcome your struggles. I seen you adapt to your struggles to beat them, just like you probably seen the same thing for me. Um, and it's life is tough. It's just what it is. But I look at it this way: we are like branches of God. God's the tree, and every so often He has to trim the branches a little bit so we grow back stronger. Um, when I say that is people are like, "What?" I've said, "What do you do with the tree that looks like it's dying? You cut the dead branches off, but you don't cut the whole tree down, right? And then it ends up growing back." Um, I have 49 trees that I cut down, and 5 or 6 of them I never got the stumps removed, and they're growing back. um, but I don't think we do enough for mental health in the United States, anyways.
Right.
Civilian or veteran or active duty or whatever. We don't do enough. We're more worried about giving billions of dollars to other countries, foreign aid. I mean,
And it's stupid money too, by the way. It's money we can never fathom. Too many zeros can. I mean, they had to make up a name for the number that it is because we never see that.
yeah. And it's like, whose pocket? I mean, the other day I was standing behind a lady in line at the pharmacy to get some pharmacy. I got a decent medical. I mean, I got the military medical. Um, it's a little bit different. If I was active duty, I don't have to pay copay, but I have copay. But like when I was in for a prescription for Jen, her medicine that she's been taking ever since I met her. Before we got married, she was paying $50 a month for their 30-day supply. When we got married and she got the TRICARE, it went from $50 a month down to like $3 a month, right?
Mhm.
Now it's like 14 or 15 bucks because of inflation.
Mhm.
Why is there inflation? Why is a insulin shot $150 for somebody? There's no reason.
Dude,
Um,
why is 3 hot dogs from Sonic $10?
yeah. Why does a bottle of water cost $2.95 when and then you want to get a fruit bowl that's supposed to be good for you, and that's like
Well,
$9.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but it's
And it's funny. It's that whole McDonald's logic, right? Come get a cheeseburger for $1.29. Come get a salad for about $6.
yeah, doesn't explain. And then another thing that kind of makes me that I wish the governments do um, is here in Rhode Island we don't have state tax. We pay a lot of property tax. When I bought
That's
the
Texas too,
house,
by the way.
when I bought my house, I don't know, 8 years ago, my mortgage is about $400 more now than was 8 years ago. Property tax, school taxes, and the state here is a great state. I mean, we, our Democrats and Republicans work pretty good together. We had a really good governor for about 8 years, 9 years, Governor Sununu, that got the Democrats and Republicans to work together. We were a role model for a lot of states. Now we got this crazy lady in that's setting up all these school things that requiring the schools to do, but the state's not giving the schools any more money than what they were, you know. So states have to, school districts have to figure out. There's one school district here that were SAUs. So there's like multi towns that make up one big school unit. But they each town has a like, kind of like Pembroke is a SAU 53. We have Allenstown, Pembroke, Epsom, Chichester, that are all one big school, SAU, but each town has its own school district. It's crazy. And Pembroke pays the most because we have the high school, and the other towns pay us to come to their thing, but they don't pay enough for their kids to come to our school, so we have to make up the difference. But there's some school district SAUs that are 3, 4, $5 million short every year. One town actually, the state had to come in and take over to figure out why it's so expensive. Well, they got buildings that are built in 1960s that they're trying to maintain because they can't afford to build new buildings because it's so expensive. And it kind of hurts me because I work at a building material lumber yard, so we do a lot of contractors and stuff come in, multi-billion dollars. We got like 10 locations. We're the biggest building supplier in the state of New Hampshire, but it's difficult on that part to pay taxes. I mean, people are like leaving Pembroke because they just can't pay it. there's when I lived in Fremont, which is 10 minutes, probably about minutes from here, south of here in New Hampshire. I got a discount paying property taxes, but I was a renter, so I didn't have to. I didn't have to pay property tax because I was a renter. But if I was paying for property tax, I get a veteran's discount, 5%. Doesn't sound a lot, but 5% could be 70 or 80 bucks a year on your taxes.
Should be more though.
It should be. It should,
5% does sound like an insult though. I mean, 10% sounds a little bit more doable, you know?
yeah, there's like businesses. You go into businesses. You go, do you do military discount? We used to. Oh, we don't. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, we do it on Veterans Day. Veterans Day. One day a year, you guys give us a free donut or a free coffee or, you know, a free meal, but here's the menu. You know, it's just like, okay. Like tonight, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings. I get 10% of Buffalo Wild Wings for being a veteran. But also, oh, we don't. Then I go, well, do you do first responder discount? Oh, yeah, here you go. Same place that doesn't give a military discount, they give first responders discount.
Mm-hmm. Why can't you put that together? Hey, a military and a first responder, that's 20% right there.
Exactly. I've been told, yeah, we do military discounts. Should I show them my ID card? Because I'm retired and I have a ID. I get the same privileges as an active duty member, being retired military. And they're like, oh, you're not active duty, so you don't get it. But I'm supposed to get the same privileges as an active duty member because I'm retired. Oh, no, you're not active duty. Yes, I am. I'm retired. We are still classified as active duty, but we're not required to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I think the government needs to give. The problem now that we have now is people just don't want to be in the military. I mean, I'm thankful that my son, last week, a week ago, got sworn into the New Hampshire National Guard.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's to be leaving in September. Scares me to death. But what parent wouldn't be scared their kids to join the military? Especially right now with Trump, but I don't even want to get politics in that. I mean, just real quick, I have good things that Trump is. I can see what he's trying to do, but the way he's going at it, I don't see it.
Look, I'll be probably the first one to say, you know, I want my president to be a way better speaker than someone who's going to sit there and throw out, we got a big, beautiful bill happening. What's in it? You're just going to love it. Don't worry about it. It's all going to be fantastic. Well, what's so great about it? You're going to love it. Don't worry about it. I mean, look, I get that with Jerry Jones trying to sell me cowboy tickets, okay? I don't want my president trying to do that as well. Yeah, but, and hey, I liked him on The Apprentice. I had no problem with Donald Trump on The Apprentice. Love that show. His first time around, I was like, okay, well, anybody can be president. Good for him. He came back around, and now it's like, you know, I'm glad so-and-so's dead. I'm glad this is going on. This is all about me. This, you know, by the way, gas prices are up because of Biden. Well, Biden hasn't been in office for over a year. How's it his fault? I mean, there's so many things. There's so much blame game that I hate on from both sides of the party, by the way. I mean, because, you know, every time it's an election year, I throw out the whole Richard Pryor, Brewster's Millions, none of the above pin, and say that's what I'm voting for right there. Because for me, it's all part of the same bird. You know, my buddy Randy Wayne, Chad Jones, a wrestler buddy of mine who was in the military, who's a Marine, he says it's all from the same bird. Both sides are dirty. So if you're willing to settle for one, just know you're settling for the dirty part of that as well. And if you're willing to settle for the other side, likewise. So whether or not you like those sides of the equation or not, that's all we have to work with. That's all they're giving us. You can't mean to tell me that when it came time for an election, it came down to Biden and Trump. So you mean to tell me that we have to go past 70 years old to find us a candidate for the presidency? My dad would have been 70 something years old. I don't want him to work the remote control of the TV, let alone, be the president of the United States. I'm glad I'm glad that he didn't live to see all this. So it's like our options are not that great. So why should I vote for the lesser of the options you're giving me?
Yeah, I totally agree. And some of the comments Trump made lately is just ridiculous. Oh, it's fun bombing them. You just had 6 servicemen die because you don't
or,
like
or,
how.
or the fact that a guy who investigated him died last night or whatever, and he's saying, "I'm glad he's dead. He's a bad guy."
Yeah, but I would really like to see the government do more for people. That, not saying that we're better than any other American or any other person in America, but there's got to be something more that we can do for the veterans.
Yeah,
It all started, the Greatest Generation had all the guys that went to Vietnam. America treated them like crap when they came back, compared to way in World War II. But the problems we're having in America today is that generation, the baby boomer generation, because they want stuff better. But the trouble is they're getting more and more older, and they're not able to do stuff, but they still try to think they can do it because the generation that they were raised by, the Greatest Generation. Now, our generation is got so used to having our moms and dads working. I came home in elementary school before we moved to Texas. My mom was home every day. My mom worked from home. She was a stay-at-home mom. But as soon as we moved to Texas and stuff like that, and realizing, hey, it's harder for her to stay home and still make the same amount of money that we were, she got herself a job. Now the society that we live in today is everything's so expensive that some parents out there, like me included, Jen works at a good job at the airport. She works at a restaurant at the airport. So she makes a decent amount, but there's some days that she goes in, she works 6, 7 hours. She might be lucky she'll be home $100. Um, I'm fortunate that I have my retirement check that helps pay for my mortgage, and I have about $900 left over from my retirement check that I can use for other bills. And I'm working full time, and also I do the firefighting, on call firefighting. So when I respond to a call, I get paid for that. There's some parents out there that I know, like there's a guy I work with. He works from 9 o'clock till 2 o'clock, picks up his kids, takes them to the daycare, comes back to work at 3, works till 5:30, goes picks up his kids, takes his kids over to his mom's house, and at 6:15 or 6 o'clock, he works a second job for till about 9, 10 o'clock, then goes over to his mom's and picks his kids up. So he can afford to live in places, you know, pay for kids and stuff like that. I still remember Jen's grew up where her mom was a nurse. So her mom worked during the day, was home when she came home. Her dad was in the bank. So he worked from 8 to 4 every day. He was home every night. You know how it is. You know the backstory to my life. My dad, I hardly ever saw my dad growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he tried to help out as much as he could, but I get up in the morning at 7 o'clock or 7 o'clock to get ready for school. My dad was already gone, and he was already at work by 6:30 in the morning. And then I come home from school, and he'll come home about 8 o'clock at night because he was an estimator, and he had to figure out how much it costs to put in heating and air conditioning in a building. And if his company didn't get that job, unless they got a job to do work, they didn't get paid.
Hey,
So
but believe me, I grew up with my mom having a steady job at Children's Medical Center. As her duty plus being the liver transplant nurse on call all the time, and my dad working in and out of music companies all the time, or being on the radio, or selling cars. Or there were times where he would lay on the couch every day and say, I want to look for a job." I mean, it mean like I miss the times with him, but those were times he wasn't working.
yeah,
Whereas, and he needed to work for us to have the life I was gonna have. But it's such an unfair trade off in some cases, right? Because
yeah,
you want the time with your kids and your dad, your parents, whatever, but you have to sacrifice a lot of that to have it eventually when it matters, and hopefully a lot of us only have it when it matters because they're gone by then. Whether life got in the way, or situations got in the way, things change. So
the
look,
hardest, the hardest, the hardest part about the society we live in today is everybody thinks they're entitled to something.
well, because we all get a trophy after the end of the season.
Everybody did. I mean, I mean,
I
we,
didn't, but okay.
I didn't.
All right.
Um, I mean, we played when I coached flag football there for 5 or 6 seasons, 7 seasons, because we didn't let the kids play football, contact football until they got to high school. Connor was the only one. But at the end of the season, or after every game, we were given like a free sandwich to give to the best playing kid, um, free cookie, like different coupons to pass out to the kids after every game. I mean, when I played baseball in Carrollton, as soon as the game was over, you ran to the shack and you got a free freeze pop. It's like, yeah, freeze pop. Everybody runs and gets the freeze pop. But if you didn't win, even if you win or lost, you got it. But at the end of the season, you didn't get a trophy unless you were first or second.
Yeah.
Um,
You got third place. You got a certificate. You look at the certificate going, "This is bullshit."
yeah. Um, I was, and now it's like Alexis, when she played soccer, every kid got a little medal. The first place team got a trophy, and everybody else got a little medal.
I remember when Dakota was in karate, right? The first karate tournament she did. She got a first place in the sparring, and she got first place in her pattern, right? The trophy was huge, right? And everybody was getting trophies. And I looked at her, I'm like saying, "You be proud of those things." Like, I was like, "Why is that?" Because everybody got something yay tall. You got yours a lot bigger than everybody else. So that means out of everybody else, you got the biggest one. That means you're number one. So take the time to appreciate that. And she would go back every year and compete again, and she get her first place again. So now she got second, so now she got third. I mean, it's again, we teach these kids. I always tell all my kids, you learn more through your failures than you do your successes.
Yep.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that parents these days never want to see a failure, a failed kid. They always want to see them no child left behind type thing, right? So every kid's going to win something because look, we just had the Oscars not too long ago. Not everybody won. Now they already got millions of dollars and they got new movies coming out. But that little bitty trophy that means something for who they are when they get moved to the next movie, Academy Award winning so and so. That's just a common Academy nominated award. It's different, right? So
Yeah.
it takes a loss for their pay cut because you know they didn't actually win the damn trophy. But if you're Sean Penn, you just don't show up and you win anyway, so it don't really matter to him. But
Well, I try to teach my kids. It's okay to fail. It's okay to not succeed at something. There's something out there that you're better, that you can succeed at other things. Like for many years, and you know, I know you and you know me. We struggled at sports, doing sports.
speak for yourself, sir. I'm a former world champion. What you talking about?
Well,
I'm a
in high
manager.
school,
I'm a manager of champions too, sir.
I remember you weren't the biggest kid in football on the
That's true.
football team your senior year, and you didn't play a lot.
I didn't play any.
You played once and you caught the
I
ball.
I
You
played.
caught that
Junior.
football.
That was my junior year. My senior year, I never got put in the game ever.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I took all that resentment I had from that 1 year and put that into professional wrestling. So when I had a chance to go train to be a pro wrestler, I thought of all the times those coaches, and we know who they are. One's a guy who got fired at Allen High School, thank God. But I won't say his name because he ain't worth it. But I looked at guys like that who held me back. Now, people that you grew up with, that you and I had the same coaches, were not those guys. It was the team that came, the coach that came in after our guy left, because our guy would have let me play. But and a lot of it was just because they had certain pressures they had to adhere to, right? They had it wasn't about winning as much as it was making sure everybody else was happy. Well, to hell with him, he wasn't that important, so we're not going to worry about him. So I took all that and went focused into wrestling, and for what worked for a brief moment until I went back to it years later and found out ways to make my advanced age make it work for me. And like I said, I failed as a wrestler, but I learned so much when I came back to do more for others. And I think that's a big thing for people to actually get into, is that you may not be the head supervisor of your spot, but you know how the job is. So be the guy they can rely on, you know? And you may feel underappreciated, underpaid, and everything else. Just be passive about it. Don't let that bother you, because at the end of the day, they don't go home with you. They don't pay your bills. They don't do the things that you need to do to survive. They don't raise your kid. They don't take care of your two dogs. They're people that are in your life for 8 hours or 10 hours.
Yeah.
And
I see that. I see that a lot these days. I guaranteed if I would have stayed, because freshman year I played spring football there for about a week, and then just realized football wasn't for me. I enjoyed being around the football. I enjoyed being the manager. Enjoyed it, but I just wasn't. You know, I didn't feel I was good enough. Like baseball, I love playing baseball. I wasn't good enough. That's why I didn't. That's why I quit baseball. And I found a sport that I really was excelling at was bowling. A lot of people give me a hard time about it, but
yeah, we ain't done that in
honestly,
a long time, you and I.
oh yeah. And you know, and I haven't really done a lot of bowling. I got back about a year ago. I did all right, but then I realized every Wednesday night I had to go bowling. Tuesday nights is my fire department training nights. Once a month on Mondays is our departmental meeting month. Realizing shit, I'm not as home as much as I should. So I had to give something up. So I had to give up bowling, which breaks my heart, but it's also like I wasn't really doing it for the last 25, 30 years. So, no big deal. I love being a firefighter. I enjoy getting that page, running out to the car, jumping in my car, turning on my lights, getting to the firehouse, getting my gear on, jumping in the, you know, crosstown express and screaming down the street. I enjoy that, helping people out. Um, but family is important, and you know that.
Mhm.
Um, some parents, we have this one guy at work. He moans and groans that he doesn't make enough money, but he never shows up to work. I mean, any other place, he probably would have been fired by now. But they're just like, everybody at work was just like, have you heard from Joe today? No. Tuesday, he pulled in the parking lot Tuesday, and there was Advance Paving, which he used to work at, was fixing up some work that they did on some paving right before wintertime, and it's already falling apart. Our company spent like $750,000 to repave our parking lot, and it's already falling apart. But he is also, next thing you know, we were like, where did Joe go? And the boss or the supervisor for the yard supervisor goes, yeah, Joe said he had to go fix his car and left. And we're like, you were here. But when you're here, you bitch and moan that you didn't make your 30 hours a week. So now the state's saying you're not eligible for this program anymore. Well, stop. You drop your kids off. You drop your one kid off at school at 7:30. You go drop the other kid off. He could be to work by 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9 to 2, when you have to leave to go back and pick up your other kid. But he doesn't show up till like 10, 11.
It's all about accountability, bro. It's all about accountability.
And it's just, and I think my military thing is I hate being late. I can't stand being late. I cannot stay.
I'm always like an hour early to work, right? Because I know you remember this. What did Coach Keith used to always say to us? If you're 5 minutes early for practice, you're 15 minutes late.
I was going to say, it was actually Coach Keith used to say, if you're 10 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late, and that was a famous saying by Vince Lombardi.
Yeah.
And Coach Keith used to say that.
I've always changed it up over the years, but it still rings true to this day. Still rings true to this day for me. I'm always, I get my mindset ready to go out and do what I'm going to go do, and it just is what it is. Before I let you go, Tom, because I know we'll probably make this a two-parter the way this is going. Quick one. Outside of family, because I know how big family is for you. What is the one thing that you're very proud of?
One thing I'm very proud of. Outside family. I think I'm proud. Are you asking like proud that I'm proud that I have done?
The things that have helped you make you who you are. Thing that you're very proud that you were a part of that. Obviously, I know. Forget about the Navy part. We obviously know that's a big part of it. But what's the one thing about Tom that you sit there and go, I'm glad I did that, outside of family and Navy?
I'm proud that I was part of. Well, of course, I'm proud to be that I could say did 20 years in the military.
Right.
But also, I think I'm proud to say that I overcome my learning well, I haven't 100%. And you never 100%, but
right, I know.
People in school used to say, "You're a dummy. Yeah. You're stupid. You won't amount to anything." Mm-hmm. Well, I was able to get I always wanted to be a firefighter, and you know that. I was fire explorer in high school. Mm-hmm. Ever since I was a kid, I'm proud to say that I got my firefighting certificate, which is a lot of hands-on training, a lot of studying, tests that you got to do. I'm proud to say that my freshman year in high school, I had Miss Her, which is another lady that helped me through high school. And you know Miss Her.
I know of her, yeah.
Yeah, she freshman year, I said, "What's one goal that you had in high school?" And I said, "Well, I want to be in all regular classes." Well, my senior year, I was in regular English. I was in algebra, math, which people say, "Well, that's a freshman class." Well, you know what? As someone with a learning disability, that is a regular class. I was able to go to college. I knew what I had to do. And I pushed myself through it. There's Navy school. I was in the third hardest Navy school that there is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Learning how to take, just stability, keeping a ship afloat, and what you had to do and how to figure it out, and what, weights and stuff like that. That was a hard class, but I learned how to adapt to my disability. And I think that's the best thing, is when I do take classes, or when I do my Bible study every day and doing my quiet time and stuff like that. I know what I need to do to accomplish, to understand the material, even in reading the verse 15, 16 times if I had to understand exactly what I'm reading. There's a lot of
What's
things.
your what's your one biggest regret outside of family and outside of military stuff or whatever else? What's your one biggest regret?
One biggest regret: not pushing myself hard enough in high school, not
Sure.
pushing myself hard enough academically wise, making excuses of, it's my disability, that's why I didn't do good enough at school. It wasn't that. I wish I could go back and take school, high school, and more seriously, and be able to go to Texas A&M or go to a major college and
Mhm.
graduate and get onto a fire department, and, a full-time fire department, big time.
Mhm.
Just push myself academically, and knowing what I know now and how to adapt to my study and learning. I wish I would have known that when I was in high school.
Well, let me tell you something, Tom. This lady right here, I posted her earlier. She's proud of the two of us. She was our mom for sure, and
Oh
she's our
yeah,
school mom. And I remember when she passed away, I was at her funeral, and I cried more for her than my own parents' funeral.
yeah.
So, I know that she's got an eye on us, and she's making sure we're doing just fine for what we're doing. And I want to thank you for being on this show today, buddy. I mean, it's you and I, we don't do this very often.
No,
Maybe we can make this more of a real thing here, because the Travel Clean Show is going to keep on going. So one way or the other, it's whether we talk wrestling, football, or we just talk life, I'm all for it. So
we can talk all day about those cowgirls.
I do that on Sunday. That's enough for me to handle those still 5 idiots up there. So
You know,
I'm good there.
once a Cowboys hater, always a Cowboys hater.
I understand that. It's funny. It's funny because I'm 2 years. I'm out of the 3 years I've been part of this Sunday show that I do. I've won the Pick'em League tournament twice for picking all the games that I can. Right, and I have to go against my team a lot of times because I know who they are, and it's made me appreciate the league more than my own team. And I think that's I mean, I'm not the best Cowboy fan. I'm not what Jerry wanted to sell tickets to right now.
Yeah,
Clearly, and I'm honestly I'm not going to go see it. I went to go see. If you mute me out real quick, or if you mute my sound though, so I'm not come blaring back at me. The one time I went out to Cowboy Stadium, the AT&T Stadium, I told myself I will only go out there for one thing only, and that's WrestleMania. When they bring WrestleMania, because they were going to bring it to AT&T Stadium for the first time that year. My sister, my half sister, lives up in the Washington D.C. area. She wanted to see the Cowboys play, and it was our chance to get both her and my other half sister, both from my dad's side of the family, to all come together for one time to all meet up. So she bought us 50-yard line Cowboy tickets, fourth level, Cowboys versus Patriots, Tom Brady's first game back after his suspension from Deflategate. So we go to this thing, and you remember you and I used to go to Cowboy games all the time, right? Remember how much that felt like a football feel? The teams coming to the team. Here's the Dallas Cowboys on offense, and they come out, and everybody got their own standing ovation. It was so milquetoast. It wasn't even. I mean, it was like, ladies and gentlemen, the New England Patriots. Ladies and gentlemen, your Dallas Cowboys. I'm like, that's it. And so I'm sitting there looking at this big ass monstrosity of a big screen right here when the game is right down here below me playing. And I'm like, I could have sat home and did this. I could have sat home and enjoyed myself a lot more, and I paid $75 plus to park my vehicle, and not pay over $100 in food stuff to sit here and watch a 5-11 team. So me going to live events like that has been out. And I'll go see the Rangers play. Baseball's different for some reason. I don't know why. I used to go see the Mavericks play. I don't want to deal with downtown. I live in Oklahoma now. I don't want to deal with downtown Dallas traffic. I don't want to go see the Oklahoma Thunder play. So I'm like, I've become more of a homebody in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. When you go to that many wrestling shows like I've had to as a performer and as a commentator and everything else, it takes away the live experience that you want to have because you've seen a lot of that already up close and personal. Now I have a TV that's 65 inches. I can sit on my own couch with my 2 dogs now and just kind of sit back and enjoy it. And to me, that's maybe that's old age. Maybe that's get off my yard type of attitude. But that works for me. I can sit here and talk to you and everybody else who's to social media or whatever else, and put up together these shows for YouTube and and reminisce and all this and have fun with it, as opposed to taking myself out of my own equation, taking myself a great distance for the what if. And by the way, WrestleMania's come to the AT&T Stadium twice. I've not been to one of them. So I've already been to 2 WrestleManias. I've been to WrestleMania 9. I've been to WrestleMania 17. I don't need to go see 2 more. I'm good. I've seen the best and the worst WrestleMania. What does that tell you?
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, it's just, it ain't worth going in. It's getting so expensive. I mean, for Patriots tickets, actually, I take that back. Last year, 2 years ago, the Army Navy football game was at Foxborough. And I went to look for tickets. The cheapest ticket I found was $350, and you were up in the nosebleed section. And being New Englander, I like to say I call myself a New Englander now.
All those Texans are really pissed at you right now, sir.
I knew December 7th is cold. You're maybe talking, if it got up to 40, it'll be a warm day. I wasn't going to pay $300 some odd dollars to go sit out and watch a football game. When I know that I went down to the soccer team, the Revolution game one time, it cost us $40 to park. We had free tickets, but it cost us $40 to park, but I still dropped $300 or $200 worth of food. We have a minor league baseball, a AA minor league baseball team here called the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. I go like maybe 3 times a year. Once my work pays for the ticket, pays for everything. Pay for food and everything. They reserve a section, whatever. The other times I go, it costs me, I get the $40 package with 4 tickets, a hot dog, and a drink, and a bag of chips. But you still drop it. Jen got some free tickets to the Harlem Globetrotters one year right here at the SNU, which is our arena, the Southern New Hampshire University Arena. Got free tickets to the Harlem Globetrotters, but we still dropped about $500. And there were free tickets. I mean, it's not cheap to go to professional sports anymore. No.
It really isn't. It really isn't. And like I said, Walmart has priced everybody out of wanting to go because they'll still sell you a big ass TV for damn near less than $1,000. So, I mean, I'm fine with that. Listen, I can talk more about all this with you all we want. I'm missing 7 states that I've not been to. New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont are 3 of those states. So one of these days, I'm going to make the trek up there to come see you guys. So, I look forward to that day. And Tom, thank you so much for joining me here on the presentation. And I will see you when I see you, my brother.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out anytime. I'm always here.
Oh shit.